Right, welcome back to another episode of Just Local, our podcast, putting the spotlight on different businesses and also different things going on in Worcestershire. I'm delighted to be here. I've been here quite often recently. So we're at Padel and Play in Worcester, and we're here with Manny and Ras, and we're going to talk through what's come about really and what this wonderful space is all about. So thank you, firstly, on behalf of everyone in Worcester. Thanks for setting this up. Might have been a bit of time coming, but I bet you're pleased it's all here now, aren't you?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I mentioned just off camera, just prior that you have a vision, you do all your homework, your strategy, your business plan, your mystery shopping, as much as you can, but to actually make that vision a reality and to bring it to life and to bring it to the community who appreciates it so much is a really rewarding feeling. Apart from obviously the income that you receive, and alongside that, it's more than that. It's more than that. We wanted to bring something to Worcester. We felt like Worcester needed it. We have a huge love for Padel as a core. My brother is also in this business, and he is Padel mad.
Really?
So combined all those things, we're super happy.
Ace. And I've been only a couple of times. And I've seen it's always been really, really busy. Mornings, evenings, it seems to be absolutely packed out, and you're starting to see the place fill up during the day as well, which is ace. You must be pleased with the way it's been taken up so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it's been a month since we've been open. Occupancy is great. We're really starting to see that community build here now, where people are attending coaching, so our group coaching sessions. They're coming to join one of our social events, and people are getting to know one another who they'd never known before, and they're sitting and grabbing a coffee, and that's what it's all about, essentially. That's what it was, why we started Padel and Play. It was about building community. Yeah. So it's great.
Well, let's hear a little bit more about yourselves, because I'm sure anyone that's watching or listening to this wants to know a little bit more about the founders of the business. So you mentioned your brother as well, Nav, who's also involved, who you'll often see here, I'm sure you will. Yeah. But can we just rewind and talk about, you've got another business you mentioned a minute ago, actually. So can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
We do, yes. So Manny and I are actually husband and wife. We set up a business, a B2B gifting business, 6 years ago now. So we've been doing that, and then alongside B2B gifting, we found a love for Padel and felt there was a gap in the market and decided to have a stab at this, essentially.
Got you. Yeah. And you're not in Worcester yourself. You said you're from Kenilworth, is that right? That's where you live?
We're from Warwickshire.
Oh, Warwickshire.
Warwickshire, yes. Yeah. So not too far afield.
Yeah, so the just going back to our kind of, we're based in Warwickshire, as Ras said. We wanted to open in Warwickshire. We knew there was a massive market there for Padel. But it doesn't always transpire that you find the right location in your initial kind of, target market. This place came about. We were wary of Worcester needing somewhere, and this place came about, and it just made sense. And, we couldn't have found a better site to, I think, open Club 1.
No, and there's, we'll talk about Club 2 in a minute as well. But so that was my next question, actually, about Worcester. Why Worcester, but also why St John's? So Warwickshire's obviously still probably on your target. You've got one that we're going to talk about in a little while. But how did this come about? How did this location come about? How did you find this one? Was it through commercial agents, or were you searching yourselves? What was it that got you here?
It was kind of through our Padel network. So starting to network with other people within the field and industry, it came about via a contact there, really. And it quite quickly spiraled. And, we came to view back in May, and we got the keys in July, and we started fit out works in July. And then 4 months later, we were ready to open. So, yes.
That was quick. And what was this before? What was this, the former use of this, or was it vacant before? Do you know what it was?
Vacant for, I think, a couple of years, at least a couple of years. And you could really tell it'd be vacant.
Oh, really?
But prior to that, a company called Komatsu, I think a Japanese mining firm, they were here. This whole area was owned by Komatsu. They're well known. I think Joy Mining, it was called, as a kind of local term. So it was dominated by that. But obviously the area's transformed. Obviously there's a gym on the other side of that wall.
Yep.
We've come here, there's talks of nurseries and so forth. So industrial areas are changing to become more public facing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And like you said, there is D1 gym just behind here. So you've got a big group of people that are coming down to this area. Yep. We're really close to the university. So you've got that massive market to tap into. Yeah. We've sold and let properties in St John's for a long time. You've got a bit of an aging demographic here. So people that like playing tennis can get into this sport. So let's talk about Padel itself. You're obviously experienced Padel players by the sound of things. I've seen WhatsApp messages go out saying play the bosses and stuff like that. But for those who've never played Padel, what is it? What's the difference between this and tennis or squash? What's the difference?
The core difference is the surround. So the difference between, first and foremost, Padel and tennis is the scoring system's the same, but you can use the glass. So essentially you can allow the ball to bounce on your side, hit the glass, and return the serve, or return the play. The difference with tennis is once it's gone past you, it's gone past you, you've missed the thing. So it requires a different level of technique, ability. Padel is a little bit more about strategic play, using the glass, using your lobs, using the smash at the right time. It's not just a baseline game, which tennis can sometimes be. I'm not saying anything against tennis, but it's a different type of game. Squash, obviously, is a different one. You know, it's just a one wall and you're playing against. So Padel lends itself to a 4-player sport. It becomes very social because of that. You can play with 3 people you've not met before in an open match, and you're all here for the same reason. And you may find a young female, a 65-year-old male, a student, all these different people from different walks of life come together. They're all here for the same reason, to play padel. They love it. They might not meet each other in any other way, but they're here for the same reason. And we see lots and lots of that. Yeah. And I don't think many other sports bring people together like that.
No, very true. I played an open match on, I think it was a Friday morning, and I just chucked my name on there. I didn't have a clue who the other players were, what their levels. I couldn't really work out my level yet. I'm very early into this stage. Yeah. But I played with a chap called Phil, who's a squash player, and he was, Phil. He's here quite a bit, I think, as well, like me. But yeah, a very, very handy player. And we played against two players I'd seen at Ombersley, another paddle court. And I'd seen them every single week I'd been there. So I thought, right, these guys are all keen. But it was great, and I came in with no kind of plans to win the match or anything like that, just to test myself and find out a little bit more. But so we're going to talk about lessons. You can actually have lessons here, because someone that's listening to this might go, I'm dead keen to go, but I just don't know how to start. What's your thought process for the person that's coming into the sport for the very first time? How should they approach it?
Sure. So coaching is a really big part of what we have to offer here at Padel and Play. So we've got a great coach, Caesar, who's joined us, and we have everything from kind of your intro to paddle sessions, which they're £5 to book on via Playtomic. You can come, you'll play with other people on a similar level, really just to get to grips with the game, how to hold your racket, and some of the basics. And then it builds on that. So we've got things like your improver group coaching sessions, and then your intermediate group coaching as well. We do also offer one-to-one, so private coaching as well, if that's something that people are interested in. We have private coaching available too.
Yep. And you've got plenty of rackets, haven't you? Because we within a couple of games, we ended up buying our own. But for the beginning, you just get people underway, don't you, with rackets? So the one thing you can do is, even if you just get 3 other friends and just want to come on down, you can book the court, you can phone up and book it, or you can book via the Playtomic app, as they've said, and just come and play. And actually, if you don't know the rules at the beginning, don't worry about it, because you only later on find you have to have 2 balls when you're serving and all those bits and pieces. But the technicals don't really matter. Essentially, it's like tennis. The scoring's the same as well. And it's really easy to kind of get involved. And actually, the court's about half the size, is it? Is it the same size, or is it a slight difference?
I think for every 1 tennis court, you get 1.5 paddle courts.
Fine. So you've got a little bit less room to run around in as well, which is great. You haven't got to cover so much.
Well, especially if you're playing doubles.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Of course. And what's it like down here? I mean, I'm giving you the opportunity to tell other people. What's it like? What will the people expect to find when they come down here on a Friday afternoon or a Saturday morning? What's it like when people get here?
I mean, really, for us, it's creating that networking opportunity, that community feel, and we're seeing that now, through whether it's our team here who are greeting you on arrival, and making everybody feel welcome. And, as you mentioned there, Matt, people don't necessarily know much about the game, and they're wanting to come in and just pop by and see what we have to offer. And absolutely, people are more than welcome to come in, check out the facility, have a club walkthrough with a member of our team, grab a hot drink, a coffee. We've got our bar here. So whether you've come to play a game on a Friday evening and you want to grab a pint at the end, or whether you've come on a Saturday morning and actually you want to have a coffee with some friends and catch up with them over a coffee after a game, it's we've got that here. We've got that social space.
Yeah. Fab.
Just to add to that, because this is a big thing for me, I think what we've created is a really nice vibe. Yeah, we have been. Don't get me wrong. We have been to other clubs. I'm not going to say anything about any other clubs, but sometimes I feel like if they just had some music on, if there was some atmosphere, if there was a bit of friendly staff and everything like that, it creates a different vibe, and that's what we're really big on here. Just creating that kind of feel-good vibe. You've come in, you play, the staff know your name, the music's on, you enjoy. You don't want to just play and leave. You play and stay.
Yeah, very true. And just to let everyone know, what are the hours that you're open? Because it's open quite late, isn't it, really?
We are. So we are open Monday to Sunday, 7 till 11. Yeah.
So a 10 o'clock court's a possibility.
Absolutely, although they
100%.
tend to get booked up pretty quick. So you'd have to, they're popular. Our 10 till 11 slot is very popular.
And is there a kind of a typical demographic? What are you finding at the moment? Obviously, 4 weeks in, you're probably not able to kind of have any numbers on everything, but like what are you finding the kind of the mix of players is like at the moment?
Look, Padel is a really accessible sport. So we're seeing all walks of, kind of demographics coming through the door, whether it's children and families coming in, or whether it's, kind of your more middle-aged, people from different backgrounds, industries, sectors, people who are self-employed, people who are professionals. It's, we've got the university down the road, so a lot of university students, as well as perhaps your more kind of mature demographic. And, people, as you mentioned as well earlier, I think Matt, we spoke, people who've been playing tennis perhaps most of their life, and they're now wanting to get into something different, and they're wanting to explore Padel. It is a very accessible sport.
Yeah, and I think it was Saturday, was absolutely hammering it down, and you could imagine something like this would be really quite popular because you don't really want to get your golf clubs out when it's like that, when you can't hold the club any longer. You don't really want to play outside if it's like that either. So I guess this place is going to be, and you can see just from the Playtomic app that it's getting booked up well in advance, isn't it? So memberships, we'll talk about memberships. If they're already playing here and they want to go down the membership route, what's the benefits of being a member of this place?
Well, the biggest thing, as you just touched on, is the longer booking window. So naturally, 7 days just doesn't feel enough for some people who want that regular slot because there's so much competition, especially during those peak hours. So membership enables a 14-day window as opposed to 7, which allows you to get that all-important, Wednesday night at 7 p.m. or whatever, that you want consistently with your group. Other benefits are discounts on things like food and beverages, merchandise. So, you get quite a significant saving on something like a brand new paddle racket, like 10% off. That could be up to £30-40. It's quite a significant saving. And we've also got an offer on at the moment on membership that typically would be £150, but it's now discounted to £120. So effectively £10 a month, which you could make off just one racket buy. So the idea is members are hugely important to what we do here in terms of kind of having that core early adopters.
Yeah. And just going back to that point about community as well, because I have found since joining, there's a QR code, I think, that made me scan to go onto a WhatsApp group. You've got a WhatsApp group that's active as well. So what's the plan behind that one? Just to share ideas, I guess, but also for players to meet each other.
Exactly, yeah. So it's an opportunity to join onto an open match, for us to be able to share kind of what's happening here at the club, whether it's a social event we're running or a tournament that's coming up, but just really to build that community feel, really, so people are able to kind of to play with others that they don't necessarily know.
Yeah,
have a bit of banter.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's active as well.
It is.
I'm on the intermediate group. I didn't go too far advanced. I thought I'd stick on the intermediate and all the other players. We talked briefly, we didn't want to give too much away, but we saw on your social media today, actually, on the day of filming, that you've been across to the site of the next one, which is Padel and Play Stratford?
Stratford upon Avon, yes, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more. What's happening over there?
So Stratford is a completely different site to here. This building is over 100 years old. Stratford is a brand new building.
Okay.
Effectively zero years old. Completely different site. Stratford, it's a 22,000 square foot building, so we should have at least 5, maybe 6 courts in there. For a little bit of a bigger offering, but the core elements of what we do will be the same.
Yep.
This kind of terracotta Mediterranean feel.
Yeah.
Very much a Roland Garros theme, which is always what our core vision.
Yep.
And that would follow throughout. So throughout the changing rooms, throughout the cafe, and kind of the core principle of community and highly engaging staff will be, exactly the same as we are in Worcester. But a slightly different offering in terms of it's on a farm. This is a bit more industrial.
Okay. And timescales behind it? When are you thinking that might be opening the doors? We won't commit you to it. Obviously, it's not going to be not being recorded or anything, so don't worry about it.
We are aiming for a Q1 2026 open.
Yeah, keeping it as vague.
I'll keep it as vague as vague as possible.
Surprised you didn't say H1.
We'll review that one.
Yeah.
We'll review that one.
Yes, yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of ask you, obviously, I'm a business owner, you're business owners. Can you just kind of talk us through kind of maybe the tougher parts that people haven't seen whilst you've been trying to do this? Because I think it's nice for people to understand that you've taken a big risk to do this. It might have opened and not been popular. I'm glad it has been, but what has been some of the tougher challenges that you've learned along the way?
So there are 5 of us involved in this project. So there's Manny, myself, there's several others. We're all family. We all have our strengths and, that we're able to bring to the table, whether it's marketing, HR, tech, finance, whatever it might be. And we've tried to pull together to collectively bring those strengths to get this off the ground. Yeah. But there have been some aspects of setting up a leisure club and facility that none of us have come across in the past, and we've not dealt with in our past experience of being business owners. Construction, for example, or flooring. So as Manny touched on, this was like over 100-year-old building, and to get the flooring absolutely level and the kind of flooring that we wanted in our changing rooms and cafe area, it was a challenge. We experienced many hurdles that we had to overcome.
Huge challenge that we didn't foresee. Yeah.
Each site will have their own challenges, but that's what it's all about, being in business, isn't it? Is actually that's part of being a business owner, and I think what excites people in business really is overcoming those challenges.
You must be very proud though. I mean, it would have been a lot of blood, sweat and tears, maybe a few tough words every now and then between family members. Well, you didn't say that, I did. But you must be pleased to see this place now buzzing, and 100%. You timed it perfectly as well, because the weather just turned, so people coming out, that being able to play outside, wanting to play more, and obviously the timing was pretty bang on.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, we wanted to launch a couple of months earlier.
I can imagine you would have done.
Yeah, we're very eager.
We couldn't, but naturally everything has its time. Mm-hmm. Everything takes time, and you can't rush certain things. But we are super proud, super proud.
Yeah.
I touched on it just before we went on air. I was about to say went on air, but the fact that you have a vision, you have a strategy, you have your plans and everything as much as you can, but to actually see people coming in, those slots being booked up, the demand so high, it is a really nice feeling. And people compliment you. I haven't, to this day, heard anything. I'm not to say that people aren't saying anything negative, but I haven't heard anything negative. And all I've heard is good kind of feedback in terms of our offering, our branding, our staff, everything, A to Z. So we're very happy.
And Manny's got an eye for detail, because before we started recording, actually we were about to start recording, he had to go and move something over on the far side. You won't see it, but he had to get everything sorted. And what tech's helped you out? Because Playtomic seems to be a pretty good app, to be fair. Is that something that most courts use, or is that something you kind of planned in straight away just to take a bit of the headache out of booking, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, most paddle operators and paddle clubs across the world, Playtomic is the #1 used app. It's a great marketing tool, because so many people who are in paddle or in kind of racket sport world will know, actually, let's go onto Playtomic to see our local club. So yes, it as an app to use from a customer-facing point of view, it's very, I think, straightforward. It's quite seamless.
It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
So, for anybody who's new to the sport, has no idea about paddle, our first advice would be to download Playtomic. Mm-hmm. Playtomic will help you understand where's your local club and what they offer. And it's really simple, super simple. Even, you could be as old as, 70, 80 plus, or as young as 18 or 15. It's really simple.
Yeah.
Literally get on there, find us, book a slot, and just turn up, and the rest will all fall into place, as you alluded to. You can hire a racket, jump on the court. Yeah. Everybody's just learning the game here. We're not Argentinians and Spaniards here, so we're just learning the game.
I find it very similar to golf in a way, because golf, you always start very poor, like you're learning it, but you just hit that one shot that makes you want to come back next time. It just keeps you into it. But you mentioned kids. I bought my kids and they had a great time. There's kids rackets here available as well, so if someone wants to come and do it and bring their kids along, is there an age range, or when?
I mean, we typically advise 8+, and we will be also rolling out a junior coaching program from the new year too.
Amazing.
Because we feel as though there is a demand. Yeah, and as you mentioned, obviously earlier, Matt, we are very proud of what we achieved, but there's so much more that we want to build on in terms of what we are offering here in our Worcester club, and so we will continue to improve our service, our standards, what we are offering, and be listening to any feedback that our customers walking through the door have for us too.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, we've got our coffees going cold. I think we'll call it there. But you've got to make sure you come down here. There are changing facilities as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see. We'll do a quick pan in there, as long as there's no gents in the gents. But it's got shower facilities. So if you do just want to nip out lunch break, come and have half an hour to an hour, you could do so. There's lockers, loads of parking. The place is amazing. So we're at Padel and Play. The Instagram page. What's the Instagram? Is it Padel and Play Worcester?
Yes, it is.
Padel and Play Worcester. So make sure you give them a follow. Can't wait to have you back on Just Local again in the future. We're going to be coming back here, no doubt. Hopefully I'll get a lesson off Caesar again. But this has been amazing. Thanks, Ras. Thanks, Manny.
Thank you.
Super place. No, thank you for coming, really. We're glad you're here. So thank you.
No problem.
All right, cheers.
Thank you.